Hello again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another speed build video in The Sims 4. Hope you're all having the most amazing day ever so far and thank you so much for joining me here today. It feels like it's been so long since I've built a family home and it's really nice to be back in San Sequoia, which is of course the world that's shipped with The Sims 4 growing together. And the really fun thing about this what I've called perfect family home is that it only requires base game, growing together and parenthood. So I'm trying to make it a little bit more accessible to more people and also challenge myself in terms of trying to restrict myself with packs. Now I really love how this house turned out, so you'll have to let me know what you think in the comments down below. And I was working from a reference image which I will pop on screen for you now. There are a few things that drew me to this particular image. First of all, the colours. So I can't remember. I'm trying to think of the actual colouring. I don't think I strayed too far. I really liked that. I loved the shape of the house. I loved the fact that it felt a little bit more realistic and less polished is what I would call it, because it is such an unusual shape. And I was kind of thinking, okay, well that means I can get a little bit more realistic and a little bit more relaxed with the interior, which I am so excited to show you, by the way, because I think the interior worked out so well. Now, okay, those of you with a keen eye might notice. So I have been under the impression for years that these white columns that I've added to each corner of the home were from Parenthood. I was wrong. I was so wrong. They're actually from Get Together. So when I uploaded this house to the gallery, it said that I had something from Get Together and I'm like, there's no way, like there's absolutely no way. When I clicked on show items from that pack, it showed the columns and I was like, hold on a minute. I thought they were from Parenthood. Now, what I was getting confused about is that if you actually look at the icons for Get Together and Parenthood, they're not too dissimilar, which is why I made that mistake. So before I uploaded it to the gallery, I swapped out these columns for some from base game. So it still stands. You only need base game, growing together and Parenthood for this house to work. Okay, now that that's out of the way, the house does have 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, and it also has a playroom as well, which I thought was a really nice touch. I've started doing playrooms in my houses a lot more because I do think they're really handy to have, especially if you've got kids in the house. It just means that they can sort of like do their own thing in their own sort of space, and they don't necessarily need to hang out in their rooms all the time. The living room is so full of character, I can't even tell you. There's like toys everywhere, there's lots of colour, but it's also really practical, and I love this house. I love this house so much, and I do feel like I was a little bit rusty when I was building this house because it's actually been 2 weeks, probably a little bit longer, since I've built a house on the channel. And there's a few reasons for this. I've just been working on other projects in the background. Work in real life has been a little bit busier than normal, and I'm just trying to get into some sort of routine at the moment. Now, I was also thinking about this just before I started recording. With it being the start of September, I'm a spooky girl. I absolutely love Halloween. I love autumn. It's my favourite time of year. It really is. It's still very warm and muggy and sort of humid in the UK, so I'm struggling to get into the spooky spirit right now. And I was actually, when I sat down and recorded today, I was thinking, okay, well I could build like either an autumnal build or a spooky build. And for some reason, I just could not do it. And all I had in my mind was pack restricted family home in San Sequoia. So I was like, I need to do that, and that's exactly what I did. And it also means that the spooky builds will be coming obviously later on this month and then going into October as well. And then obviously middle to end of November and then into December we'll start working on the more wintry / Christmas themed builds. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to rush anything, because sometimes I am really quick to start on the autumn builds. I know last year I started them at the back end of August because I was just that keen for spooky season to start, and I definitely am this year, but it seems to be unusually warm in the UK, especially for this time of year. Normally, at least to me, it starts to feel like it's starting to cool down a little bit. What about where you live? Are you having the same thing, or am I just overthinking it? Is it just a me thing? Anyway, back to the build. So you'll see me fiddling around with this house on the exterior and also on the interior. I was in a really fiddly mood today. I was just thinking, okay, well, I can't really make that work. That doesn't look quite right. And I don't know. I don't know what came over me, but like the flower boxes, for example, I was head set on them being yellow, and then they were blue, and then they were white, and then I took them away and I didn't want them anymore. And then I was trying to fiddle around with the exterior color scheme, and I was like, right, stop, because the house looks good. Like, just leave it. I'm an absolute, like, I'm really bad for like doing this for some reason, where I'll just fiddle to the point of being like, okay, well, I've ruined it now. I've completely ruined it. So I was really trying not to do that with this house. I wouldn't necessarily keep things like basic or like less cluttered, because that's definitely what not what I was going for, sorry, with this particular build. But anyway, we got there in the end, and that's the main thing. So we actually do wrap up the exterior in just a moment, and we start on the interior. But before we did that, I did add this swing set from Growing Together outside, because I just love this so much. And I can't remember if this was one of the items that you had to pre-order the pack to get. I don't think it is. Please, someone correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sorry if that is the case. But I thought it was a really cute swing set, and I thought it worked really, really well on the outside there. And then I do start on the interior, trying to work out the floor plan for both the upstairs and the downstairs. It's very unusual that I'll start on the upstairs first, but because of the shape and the way the house was laid out, I kind of had to make sure that this stair placement worked for this floor plan, which it did, and I was really excited about that. So the downstairs area is actually divided into some really basic sections. So we have the living room on the left, we've got the kitchen right at the back there, we've got a separate dining space, we've got a downstairs full bathroom, which is off the kitchen, but it is what it is. It's The Sims. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Then we've also got the playroom just next to the bathroom as well. So I just thought it worked really, really well. And the really nice thing about this house is that the rooms are nice and big, which is great for gameplay. And this is the living room. I had a little bit of trouble deciding on a colour scheme, again, getting all fiddly and just thinking, oh, I was just overthinking everything. I really was. And I do like the fact that I'd initially picked out this sort of like beige, brown and green colour scheme. But for some reason, now I'm looking back on it, I'm thinking, why did I not keep that? But anyway, I was just trying something a little bit different, I guess. So, love this room. I think it looks fantastic. As I was saying at the beginning, there's a lot of colour in here. There's a lot of activities. I can imagine the family sitting in here and like Winterfest and having their friends and family over. It's just a really nice space. And another thing I really like about this room is that the stairs are kind of a part of the room. I always think that makes things look so much cozier and so much more homey, and it's something that I'm trying to do a little bit more with my floor plans. Rather than walking in and having a hallway, you walk in to the living room and then the stairs are right in front of you. And I really like that, because when the kids come home from school, I can imagine the parents are like already grilling them about how their school day has been, and I just think it's a really, really nice idea. For me in real life, it's not necessarily something that I would want, because I wouldn't necessarily want to like bombard someone as soon as they come in the door. But I think it's just a nice thought, isn't it? Anyway, I do struggle a little bit here with this space over here. Initially, I added a chair, but then I added this like infant tummy time playmat. I just thought, let's go functional. Oh, and I don't think I've even spoken about like the family dynamic. So in my head, we've got two parents, we've got two twin boy children, and then we've got an infant daughter. So the parents have had a little surprise, and they've got like a little nursery upstairs, which actually turned out to be one of my favorite rooms in the house. So along with the dining room, randomly, I absolutely love the way the dining room looks, and I also love the twin boys room as well. I think that looks really, really nice. I love the whole house, I really do, and I love the fact that I really challenged myself with this and restricted the packs. It's definitely something that I want to do more of. It's something that I want to do more of with packs that I not necessarily stay away from or avoid, but packs that I wouldn't necessarily opt to use as like a first choice sort of thing. So for example, the Desert Looks kit comes to mind. That's really not a kit that I can honestly say that I use a lot of items from, so it'd be kind of interesting to see if I could do like a base game and Desert Looks modern starter house, for example, or something like that. If you've got any ideas, drop them down below. If you want me to do like base game and seasons, or if you want to like bundle some packs together, and just let me know. We do finish off the living room here. We just add some more finishing touches. I was thinking that maybe the kids I wouldn't say they've taken over the living space, but I definitely wanted to get across that this family, they're very family oriented and they just love spending time together. They don't mind having kids clutter and mess in the living space, and I absolutely love that about this family. Then we work on the dining room. The dining room proved to be a little bit difficult to begin with. I think I was overthinking it, and I know when I overthink something, I'll either not do it or I'll try to do it and it just doesn't come out the way I want it to. So I kind of took a step back and I let go a little bit. This is me. I just wanted to put in my first attempt because I wanted you to see the process that I went through with this room, and this is what I ended up coming up with. It's kind of like a green and warm wood colour scheme, and I do change the curtains off camera to a really nice white and orange swatch from Growing Together, which I've never used before, but I thought complemented the green really well without it being overly autumnal, because again, that's not the sort of vibe that I wanted to go for with this particular house. But speaking of autumn builds, I know we touched on it at the beginning a little bit, but if you've got any ideas, I've already got some of my own of what I want to get out for this year, but if you've got any ideas, drop me some comments down below. I love reading your ideas. I absolutely love it, so let me know what you might want to see. I had a little chair in the corner here. I was going to add a fireplace, but I can't believe I haven't even spoken about this. This beautiful archway is from Growing Together, and I've never used this before in a build. I've never used it before. I've just never done a house that's really had the floor plan and or the space to cater for it. And I was so excited when I realized when I got inside, I was like, I can use that archway because it is beautiful. I mean, Growing Together, I've already talked about this on the channel. I absolutely love the build and buy that came with Growing Together. I think it's probably one of the best, and I would have been really disappointed if it hadn't have been, because with it being such a family oriented pack, I do think it's equally important for them to tick the boxes for the gameplay and for the build and buy, because again, you can tell your Sims stories through where they live, and I really think you're able to do that with Growing Together, which is just one of the many reasons that Growing Together is one of my favourite packs. Now, to the kitchen. So I was panicking initially. I mean, I wasn't really panicking because I know that there's some solid cabinet options from base game. I was just thinking maybe they wouldn't really fit with the overall vibe of the house, and then I remembered that we got these cabinets, right? Yeah, cabinets and countertops with Parenthood, and I was like, ooh, it's been a while since I've used these, and it's been a very long time since I've used them in this really unusual swatch. Now, I know the countertops with this being like this, it's a very strange like burnt orangey reddy brown colour. I don't think it necessarily fits with what we're going with, but it kind of does at the same time. Like, you'll see me dropping down into the dining room and sort of looking through the archway to make sure it doesn't like stick out like a sore thumb or just look really out of place. So I actually ended up thinking it works. Let me start again. I think it ends up looking really nice. So again, let me know what you think in the comments down below, but I really like how all the items work together in here. I do use this fridge and cooker from the Growing Together pack. I think that works really, really well. And then everything else that we use is pretty much just obviously base game, Parenthood, and Growing Together. I was about to like go, oh yeah, but then I've realized it's a pack restricted build. Anyway, can you tell, or it feels like it's been a while since I've done I say slightly longer voiceover. I think this is only going to be just short of like maybe 22 minutes or thereabouts, so it's not a particularly long build, but I do feel a little bit rusty. I feel like if I don't do a voiceover for like a longer video for a couple of weeks, I'm a little bit rusty. So I'm so sorry. If you made it this far, like, thank you so much, because these rambly voiceovers, I love listening to them, as in from other people, but yeah, maybe not myself. But anyway, again, with the kids clutter, I thought that the family, they add all their artwork that the kids bring home from school and or complete in the house. I love adding stuff like that to family houses. It really cements that sort of family dynamic within the house. And again, telling a story through each room. And I absolutely love that. I do add some posters from the Growing Together debug. They're not from debug, are they? Like the unicorn one. No, they're not from debug. I add them just above the microwave because I do some rejigging. So I end up thinking, I think it ends up looking really good. That's the second time I've got those particular words completely mixed up. I'm so sorry. It's also really warm in my office. I feel like I need to invest in an air conditioning unit for next year because it's very warm, very warm. But the kitchen ends up getting all finished in the end, and then we do move on to the downstairs bathroom. This is the only bathroom that I film because if you've seen one of my bathrooms in one of my builds, you've seen them all, and by that I mean the bathrooms upstairs are pretty much direct replicas of this one down here because I like everything to feel very sort of flowy and cohesive. If you've been around the channel for a while, then you'll know that's just how I operate. So that's that. I had this little laundry hamper from Parenthood. It's not functional, but I just thought I added a little bit more clutter, and this is probably the main family bathroom. This is probably the one that gets used the most because I wanted the family to have an option. So this is a full bathroom. There's also a bathroom on the upper floor with a shower, and then the ensuite off the main bedroom, it doesn't have a bath or a shower, it's just a toilet and a sink, but I just figured it sort of took the pressure off the other bathrooms. So if you want to change that out, then please feel free, like add a wardrobe or something, I don't know. Anyway, this is the small playroom. So we've got this piano that came with Growing Together. It's not an item that I tend to use very often, the piano, because I often forget that we have it. However, I do think it adds some really nice gameplay for if you want to download this house and play in it. So I figured it was a really good idea to add this. I think I ended up changing the swatch. I found this I can't describe it. It's like a baby blue blossom swatch. I didn't even realize it existed, and I was like, this is so cute. And I love the fact that here it is there, like the cherry blossom. I think it's so nice. And then I also forget that we've also got 3 slots on the top of there that we can use to clutter it up, which I think is I just think it works so beautifully. I really, really like it. And then I just end up adding some more pops of random colours. And I changed the rug to pink to sort of tie in that cherry blossom, which I thought worked really, really well. And this is the main bedroom. I actually really like this room. I think I'm starting to get good at main bedrooms. I don't know what's happened in the last couple of months, but I feel like I'm getting really good at them. Kids' rooms, nurseries, I love doing them. I think you can do so much more with them, and so I enjoy them more, number one. And number two, I just think they end up looking so much better because you can sort of play around with more colour and texture. But with main bedrooms, I don't know, I tend to do the same thing all the time and I just find them quite boring. But this one, I love the colour scheme, I love the shape of it. So you can see this is the ensuite here. If you can call it an ensuite, can you call it an ensuite if there's no shower or bath? I mean, I don't think it really matters. In my opinion, I don't think it matters. That's why it's a 2.5 bathroom house, but I just thought it was so important to the parents to have kind of their own space. Does that make sense? But yeah, I love the furniture placement in this room. I just think it looks really cute. And I add this little laundry basket from Base Game and then put some towels on top because my amazing friend April, aka Miss Simrino, she does that in so many of her builds and I've always wanted to try it. So thank you so much for the idea. I absolutely adore it. And then we move on to the twin boys room. We've gone very heavily with the green and blue and the dinosaur theme. I know I've done this a couple of times before, but what can I say? I absolutely love these bunk beds and I'm a sucker for a kid's room with a theme. What can I say? I absolutely love this. I enjoyed every second of just filling every inch of this room just with posters and random clutter and just making it their own space. I love it so much. You'll have to let me know what you think. I do end up moving this chair, which I can't remember what I end up putting there instead. Oh, it's the craft table from Parenthood. So again, just more activities rather than just a seat. You know, normally I'd put a desk in here for them to do their homework on, but for some reason I I didn't. I mean, I could have done. I could have moved the door over maybe and put in a desk, but I didn't. And that's completely fine as well. It doesn't really matter. I don't know why I'm mentioning it even. I don't think anyone was even going to notice. Oh, and then, okay, so we've just had a base game update that's allowed us to have some more swatch options for the base game backpack, and this is my first time seeing them in game. This is the first time I've seen them because I haven't done a family house in so long, so I haven't even been to look at them, and can I just say I absolutely adore them. They're amazing. It's something that I never thought we needed, but now I'm like, okay, yes. I just love it so much. And then we do move on to the nursery. So the nursery is for what I envisioned, a baby girl. I don't know whether the family necessarily planned to have her, but they've got her and they're so happy that she's here. I mean, it could be for a girl. It's kind of sort of gender neutral, but I've gone for like more, maybe like soft pinks and creams and yellows. So I suppose it could be gender neutral if you wanted it to be. In my head, she was a baby girl, and I love this. It was a little bit of a squeeze getting in that changing table, but I got it in there, and that's the main thing. But the good news is, we're almost at the end of the video, so you don't have to listen to me ramble on anymore. But if you would like to download this house from the gallery, you can do so. My origin ID is RachelPedd. It's available on there right now. Tray files, as always, are linked down in the description box below. You can get them for free from SimFileShare. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining me here today. I can't wait to see what you think of this video. You all take care, and I will see you again really soon. Bye.